taken out an important post on the board, big organization, yet that was still another desk job with a totally different title. I was all about traveling the world, laying on the beach, making snow angels in the snow, and skipping anything with the word morning in it. I'm not a morning person. And so, against the will of the most feared of all, my father, my dad, in 2018. So I started that lady leadership and Nemesis training course. Now, being a girl from Africa, I was told I couldn't make it because anything outside of a 9 to 5 job is considered either too risky or unstable. And I couldn't make it because I don't have enough money to start, or because already being in my 30s, and that I couldn't make it simply because I'm a woman. But here I am after years of being mocked by people around for pursuing my dream of independence. I've consulted for the Walt Disney, became a published and credited scientist, and now I'm coaching men and women of little to no resources around the world to go beyond their limitations, regain confidence, and move from the 9 to 5 and into entrepreneurship, where they can manage their time freely while making it. So now let me ask you a question. Do you want to slave away to the idea of building someone else's dream instead of yours? Now, are you waiting for your next escape plan, that which we call a holiday? And do you think you're tied up to your 9 to 5 job just because you're trying to keep up with other people's lifestyles? Or in 10 years from now would be the number of candles on your birthday cake. Now, if your answer is yes, my friends, to all or most of these questions, then I'm here to tell you that you aren't born to pay bills and mortgage and then die. You're born to live and enjoy your life. And if escaping and living in a secluded place like that, this can be where you thrive, then it's doable. And if laying on the beach while sipping cocktails or mocktails is your favorite thing to do all year round, then it's achievable. And if traveling or simply staying at home with your family is what feeds your soul, then it can happen, but never with a 9 to 5. And because numbers never lie, according to statistics and surveys made recently, there are over 500,000 new businesses created per month in the US alone. And the top skills needed for entrepreneurship or starting your own business on your own are communication, problem solving, and time management, and not some high fancy college degree. In fact, only 9% of small business owners hold a bachelor's degree. For 45% of small business owners use their mobile devices to stay connected and perform tasks, which means you can simply travel anywhere you want, anytime you want, and still be doing what you love. Now, during COVID outburst in 2020, over 500,000 new businesses were launched alone in the US, where 80% of them were done online and remotely. Now, unlike the popular belief that you should start a business only in your 20s, in fact, middle-aged men start the most successful businesses, while middle-aged women launch the biggest number of small businesses. And over 50% of entrepreneurs say they would work past the age of 65, not out of necessity, but because they would enjoy it. And there 70% of small business owners rely on their personal funds rather than loans, which saves them the hassle of getting into more debt eventually. In fact, there are programs out there that pay you up to $100,000 to drop out of college or stop your education and start your own business, like the Theo Fellowship. And actually last year's the Theo Fellowship included a fashion designer, a poet, and a Harvard dropout. Now, over 90% of entrepreneurs do not regret launching their businesses because they're doing something they love and more in control of their schedules, and they get to spend more time with their loved ones. And almost 100% of self-employed people say they would never go back to a 9 to 5. So before you turn off your screens tonight, to those of you who dread their current job, I ask you to start reassessing the risk of waiting till you're on pension to enjoy your life, and save up enough now. And if you're getting only 2 hours per day, that's fine. Okay, use them. Use those 2 hours, caffeinate and motivate yourself, and work on a plan for your great escape. Now, to those who are working a job or two, trying to keep up with the Joneses or the Kardashians for all that matters, well, stop it now. Because you can be happier and more fulfilled making 20,000 less a year with a smaller house and a Toyota with enough time and money to travel around the world, rather than owning the 4-bedroom house and a BMW and absolutely no time to actually live. And to those who are currently out of a job or about to start looking for another chain tied around their necks, I say, this is your chance. You're now free, and the choice is much easier for you to make. Invest more time into exploring what you love and make a living out of it, instead of wasting time on someone trying to use you into building their dream. And before I go, let me leave you with a question now that you've heard me talk. Isn't ditching the 9 to 5 might actually be the way to living a more fulfilling life? And wait, don't move, we're not done. So you can connect with me on social media. On Facebook, official That Lady Leadership. On Instagram, That Lady Leadership. And I have a surprise for you, and only now for you. Now, all exclusive, my upcoming guide training, 4 intensive sessions of understanding of what's holding you back, your mindset change, identifying traumas and getting past it, and unleashing the power within. 4 intensive sessions of 1.5 hours each. These are worth $8,000, and access to a private community of entrepreneurs and new business owners that's worth $500 a month. Plus a digital copy of my soon to be published guide that has had a huge success in 32 countries in application, and it's worth $20 online. Now you get all of that for free in the 5-day challenge. So if you join now, the 5-day challenge, it's for free. You get everything for free. You're not going to pay for anything. There's a VIP option, but you don't have to opt in for it. You can just go to that link on Facebook on my official That Lady Leadership page and sign up to the 5-day challenge, and you'll get everything for free. And this is special for you. Thank you.
Great. That is so wonderful. Thank you so much, our friend, my very good friend, Ranim. You have given us a detailed speech on why we should start our own business and the reason why we should not depend on our own limited circles. It's not muted here.
How are you?
So that is wonderful. So kindly join the 5 days challenge to get it for free. when we are talking about leadership, leadership is not all about those in position to lead. We also have what we call personal leadership. Personal leadership is a very important skill that everyone should learn and able to develop your personal or your ability to lead yourself. It is a big credit to you as an individual. Thank you, Ranim, for that wonderful speech, and God bless you all. So now we proceed to our next speaker this evening, this afternoon, and this morning. So we call on our speaker. Permit me to share my screen.
Please have everybody on mute.
Please
have everybody mute.
Wherever you are, mute yourself, please. Wait, let me. Okay, I mute her. Yeah. So I will now introduce our second speaker. May I now share my screen? I now share my screen. So, our next speaker at this time
Godwin Ruth, please mute.
If you are, kindly mute yourself. Wait, I will mute that. Our next speaker is a business consultant with over 200 clients. She's also taking financial literacy into the school, where students are learning about budgeting and cost of living from grade 3 up. They are learning about starting, running, and closing a business. An inspiring speaker for 20 years. She led District 86 Toastmasters to distinguished status. Won the international awards. My dear friends, help me welcome. She will be teaching us on how to prosper during a pandemic. How to prosper during a pandemic. Help me welcome Doreen Hillier. Doreen Hillier is a friend from Canada. Kindly pay attention so that we will know how to be prosperous during a pandemic. Doreen, over to you.
Thank you very much, Stephen. It's my privilege to be here today, and I'm hoping that something I will say would trigger your imaginative mind, and you'll be able to realize there's so many opportunities during a pandemic and after a pandemic. So how to be prosperous in a pandemic? I think the number one thing in order to be prosperous in anything is our faith. We must have faith. Faith is in believing in something unseen, but we can make things happen. So what does prosperous mean? If I look up the meaning of it in a dictionary or on the computer, it says it's an adjective, successful in material terms and flourishing financially. With over 200 clients in tax accounting, I was able to teach them how to budget, where to spend their money in their business, I was able to teach them if they were willing to listen. So prosperous means a whole lot more than money, though. It means bringing wealth and success, and wishing you a prosperous new year would be an example of using prosperous. But it could mean booming, being comfortable, well-to-do, well-heeled, well-off, affluent, rich, wealthy, robust, fortunate, flourishing, profitable, bright, happy, blooming, easy, lucky, money highs, and opulent. You will sometimes find rich people are not happy and poor people are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you look at yourself, you, and what makes you happy, contented, and filled with joy. What is your passion? But first, let me tell you about an analogy that I used when I spoke in Korea. I spoke in front of 72 students, 19 to 23-year-olds. I was teaching them how to give a presentation because 30% of their final mark was in giving a presentation. And I learned those skills by going to Toastmasters and belonging to Public Speakers Association. And that's what I taught the students. But before I taught them, I told them this analogy. A boy looked across a field at his horse and saw that his horse was thirsty. He walked across the field, put a rope on the horse's neck, and walked him to the pond, and the horse still would not drink. So no matter what we learn, no matter what we're taught, if we don't apply it and implement it, we will be like the horse that didn't drink. A month later, my son called me and he said he was marking, he's a professor in Seoul, South Korea at an all-women's university. And he said, I'm marking the presentations, Mom, and I have no choice. He made my heart stop because I didn't know what he was going to say. He said, I have no choice but give this student 30 out of 30. And I said, yes. She took what I taught her, she applied it, and she got the top score. So that's it about application when you learn something. Sometimes it's our attitude. We can choose to have a good attitude. We can choose to have a bad attitude. When we wake up in the morning, some of us are already mad at the world. But how about if we wake up and have a good attitude and then develop really good habits like reading, meditation, cleanliness, a healthy breakfast, have a good attitude and be able then to distribute that out into the world. Have a gratitude for the breath in our lungs. Do you notice the things that you appreciate? What do you appreciate? What are the things that bring you joy? How do you talk to yourself? Do you talk to yourself positively or negatively? What if you stubbed your toe? Would you say, well, that was stupid? Or would you acknowledge you stubbed your toe because you weren't watching where you were going? Respect is a big thing. Love and respect is the major thing in this entire world in all nationalities. And respecting ourselves, respecting our home, our family, our friends, our workplace and community, that is going to help us be prosperous. Health is wealth, my mom used to say. Now, my mom wasn't healthy. We grew up with a dad who was working to support 4 children, mom and dad. And my mom was sick and needed a lot of medication, but she used to always say health is wealth. And you know what? She was healthy and wealthy in a lot of ways, other than money. She had a healthy personality. She cared about people. She was very loving. and she certainly had faith in God. When we eat our food in the morning, when we have our healthy breakfast, you know, the same healthy food that goes down in me or goes down in you will not have the same benefit if we're not present with that food. I love food, so I'm going to take time to enjoy the texture, the smell, the color. And as I eat it, and it goes down into the cells that I need this nutritional food for. But if I'm tense, or if I'm arguing with somebody, or if I have my electronics on the table and I'm not present with the food, it's not going to benefit me the same. We need to drink plenty of water, and we need to exercise at least 3 times a week for 20 minutes. You know, a nice walk in fresh air or swimming. But do you know, whatever issue you have, Elliott Connie says in his solution-focused therapy, ask the question, what is it that I can help you with? What is it that you want to do? And you will tell me, and then you will also continue talking, and you will find the answer within yourself. I believe with faith, with God living inside of me, all I need to do is look inside and say to him, what is it you want me to do? Because I hear opportunity knocking. So acknowledge, identify the issue or the problem, and immediately implement a solution. If you don't know what that solution is, reach out and help people. Tell people that you need help in some area. Now, money obviously is earned from a job, a career, or a sale of a project or a service. And we use our money to cover our bills, rent, mortgage, food, electricity, clothes, etc. But in order to be prosperous in a pandemic or not in a pandemic, we need to have a relationship with money. Money is not the root of all evil. Money is not bad. Money is good. It's a tool to be used to do some good. If you have an abundance of money, you can help. You can help in the charity. You can help in different places. And I can tell you a story about a couple things. There was a man and woman who started Evans Ministries, Dean and Melissa Lohman from the United States. And they wanted to go and do something in Honduras. They found that the pregnant women were having handicapped children born quite frequently because they did not have the proper nutrition. So Dean started planting vegetables out around the hospital, whereas Melissa was the nurse who was borning the babies. And now they have a huge piece of land that they developed and got workers involved. So you can start with a dream, start with an idea, and build on that idea. Last year, I studied with Deborah Pondman and Mary Morrissey, a life coach. You know, I've taken life leadership, Toastmasters, Junior Achievement, and I've started writing my own book on leadership and also on health consulting. You can sit down and write your story. Another friend of mine learned how to paint during the pandemic. So can you imagine how many paintings she will have for sale? You know, you can just craft your own idea of what will help you. Another idea or another thought, you know, during the pandemic, outside of the pandemic, was Project Hope. We went into Africa, and there were children in Africa that needed a school. So we held dinners here in Canada, annual dinners, and we had a silent auction and raised money. We got the school going, we got school desks going, we got a clean well dug so they got clean water. We feed 400 a day. And then we brought in sewing machines to the women and taught them how to sew. And now one of the women was so good at sewing, she's sewing school uniforms for the kids. There's so much need, and yet we all have the capacity to do so much. Another area, just here in my own area in Ontario, there's an area where the children were less fortunate. And the playground was falling apart and things were broken and it was dangerous. So we formed a committee and we built a new playground. Whatever your need is, you can reach out and let people know what that need is, and they can help you put together that particular program. I believe the first need is to discover the best in yourself, and then you can discover the best in others. Self-care. I was always taking care of my mom who was sick after school. We could, because of her medication, we got 2 new dresses a year. Well, I must say it's a little different right now. But I was giving so much to my mom or to others, I forgot about myself until 4 years ago when I had a heart attack on the plane on the way back from England. And I went on a discovery to discover that an avocado a day lowers your cholesterol. When I saw my heart specialist the last time, he said, there are no heart concerns. I said, what about the damaged lower part of the heart? He says, there's no heart concerns. I said, what about the left ventricle hardening? He said, there are no heart concerns. But if you take care of yourself, look after yourself, keep yourself healthy, keep yourself positive, joyful, happy, then you're going to be able to help everyone who crosses your path. You're going to be able to look into their eyes and say, I can see this in you. What do you think? While I was doing a workshop up in Collingwood area for Toastmasters, I did a workshop called The 10 Laws of Leadership, and there were 72 people in that workshop. I didn't know all of them, but I used an analogy where somebody at work would not give me their sales reports. And I took him to lunch and I said, Fred, do you know what you are to me? You are my sandpaper, rubbing me and rubbing me and rubbing me, refining me to make me a better person. He did not want me to look better in my boss's eyes. So that Friday, I got his sales report, and every Friday after with no problem. But as district governor for Toastmasters, I ran into the same thing. I gave the tools for them to do their jobs, 37 area governors, 9 division governors, and I trained them so that the district would be, and Toastmasters International would also be successful. But there were 2 area governors that did not want to work together. They were pulling at each other. When he called and complained about her, I said, think of her as your sandpaper. When she called and talked about him, I said, think of him as your sandpaper, rubbing you and rubbing you to make you a better person. That next year, a crowbar could not pull them apart. They worked so well together. For every problem, there is a solution or 2. So I want you to look deep down inside. What is your passion? What is it that you want to do? What would make you happy? You don't have to go and work somewhere where you're not happy or where you're bullied, but you can change it. You have the power. You have the control. Opportunity is knocking. And if there's anything I can help you with, TFG is my business, TFG Consulting. I'm on the website, I'm on YouTube, I'm several different places that you can find me. So you can also talk to Stephen, and he can also send you the link to my website as well. But I am here hoping that today something I said will help you feel joyful, will help you be content, and will help just raise that passion in you to make a difference in your life and in those that you meet. Thank you very much. And if there are any questions, I can take some questions. Stephen, if you have time.
Great. This is called mind mapping. That's what we call mind mapping. Doreen has given us a very good mind mapping section. Please, before I proceed, do you have any question? If anybody have question, feel free to ask a question. Your questions will be answered. If you have any questions, I will give a few minutes. If you have any questions to our speakers, kindly do. Kindly do. You can type in the chat box area, type your questions so that we can read it out so that she can attend to the questions. So thank you so much, Miss Doreen. We are grateful. I marked or I pinned some kind of words or some words you gave. Money is not the root of all evil. So please, I want you to bear this in mind that money is not evil, it's not the root of all evil, but it answers our problem. So what is the root of evil is inability to handle money in a matured way. So when we allow money to come to our head and control us, and it will lead us into evil. So money is good. Money is good. Money is good. It's very, very important. So that is the purpose why we are here. We want to fix ourselves. We want to know how to fix our lives. We want to remove those things that are bothering us, that will hinder us from fixing our lives. Why? In order to be happy, in order to make money, so that our lives can be good. So money is not the root of evil. Discover the root, discover the best in you. So this is another aspect of her speech. I would also like to commend on discover the best in you. So many of us, we are lagging behind in the area of finding ourselves. We have not found ourselves. Why? Because we have failed, or the ability to discover ourselves is not there. We always want to be like others. We always want to do what others do. We hate ourselves. We don't like ourselves. Self-love is very, very important. From self-love, you can go to self-care. If you love yourself, you can then care for yourself. If you hate yourself, you cannot care for what you hate. So that is the simple arithmetic that you can't care for what you hate. So when you love something, you care for it. So when you love yourself, you care for yourself. Especially now that we are passing through difficult time, we have the pandemic giving us threats everywhere. We have, especially those in Nigeria, we have the government treating us so bad and evil. We have the terrorism everywhere. So it is high time we care ourselves. We protect ourselves. We monitor and mind where we go. We mind where our money go. We mind how we fix our minds so that our minds will not be in jail. The worst jail that a man or a woman could be in is the jail, the prison of the mind. When your mind is in jail, you are totally in jail, not even the prison of our depriving us from movement, no. If your mind is in jail, you cannot prosper. Remember our topic, our theme is how to prosper in a pandemic, through a pandemic. So try to liberate your mind. Freedom of the mind is the best way to prosper in the pandemic. If you free yourself, free your mind, you can be free from fear. You can be free from fear of contacting the disease. Yes, the disease is real, but your mind freedom can make you to be aware, to be alert, of the dangers and the vices of the pandemic. So we are also waiting for questions. If you have any questions, please, you can ask the questions. So as we are waiting for questions, I will proceed to give you a brief on our foundation. So this is just for charity purpose. We have two speakers today. These two speakers are renowned speakers around the world. Doreen is in Canada. She has more than 200 clients that she's attending to. And now she spared the time to give us her words. So it is so much valued, it is so much valuable that we must thank her so much for giving us few minutes, 2 hours to be here, despite her tight schedule. On the other way, we have Ranim. Ranim is a good friend from Egypt. She's a professional from Harvard University. So she also has so many clients to attend to. She has so many paperwork. She has so many seminars and webinars preparing. That is why, if you watch, maybe her time is killing. So she will soon leave us. So that is why we are grateful that she or that they are here to attend to us and to give us their word from the bank and from the bank of their knowledge and wisdom. So help me to thank them very, very well. So let me proceed by giving you a very good tip about those that are hosting this now.
Hello, please, I have a question.
Okay, ask your question, sir.
Yeah, although already I've typed my question in the chat box, I don't know if you can view it.
Okay, Vivian, are you there? Hello, Vivian.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, can you help us to read out the questions so that they can hear, so that she can answer?
The question is not clear. I can't see it in the chat box.
Okay, sir, can you ask your questions by voice? Ask your question by voice. Yes, ask your questions through voice. We can hear you.
Yeah. My first question is, passion to venture into business and the person has no capital to start. What can that person do in order to be successful in the business? That's the first question.
Running. Hello.
Oh,
Running.
okay.
Yes, I'm here. Can you repeat the question because your voice was not quite
Please, sir,
clear?
can you speak up a bit?
Okay, sir. I said my question is, when one have passion to venture into a particular business and the person have no enough capital to start what he wants to do, oh, what can that person do considering the situation of things now in order to be successful in that particular business?
All right. So, did you actually kickstart it or not yet? Or you just have a passion towards something and you want to turn it into a business?
Not studied it, just have passion.
Can you raise your voice?
You said haven't started, but have the passion.
Okay, that's great. So the first step is identifying your passion, actually. So once you know that this is what you want to pursue, okay. Goodwin, could you please mute yourself? Put yourself on mute. All right. So the first thing you should do is, once you know that this is your actual passion, and how do you know that this is your actual passion, is that this is the thing that you're going to go through thick and thin, the bad and the good, in order to get there, in order to make it in this specific field. Okay, so for example, if you like I don't know, maybe cooking, okay, for example. So if you like cooking and this is something that you would go through every hardship, you would not quit on, then this is your passion. This is your true passion, because there are a lot of types of passions, and the true one is the one that you want to pursue over. What you can do once you identify your passion is find yourself something that you want to give value to people with that passion. So for example, if you like teaching, then what do you want to serve people with that teaching? What do you want to help people? Usually having a side of helping others, or fixing a problem with whatever the passion is, like you're helping people with that passion to solve a problem. This is how you actually monetize your passion. This is how you get it into business and how you make money out of it. Okay, so if it's not only that you're good at it, but it also has to help solve a problem that people are having. Okay, and you have to have the exact way of how to actually achieve that or relieve that pain. Does that answer your question?
Okay.
You're on mute.
Okay. The next, his next question is, considering the situation of things in global world, especially in Nigeria now, where he is, prices of things are rising on daily basis. How can one cope in this time of price hike? Do you have any idea on that?
In a place like Nigeria, where the prices are being raised daily, how can one cope? Here in Toronto, just 1 hour away, the prices of houses are $1 million and over now, $1 million and more. Puts some people out of the place to live. We have people on the street. We have people losing their jobs. We have 1 in 8 in Toronto that are hungry. So how do they cope? What kind of a association do you have in Nigeria? Is there like a food bank? Are there churches that will help people? Is there a family that has a supply that can help? You know, because prices are rising. And if, you know, you're not making enough to make ends meet, then you're going to have to find a solution. You may, like Raina was saying about, you know, discover your passion. Like, are you able to go out? And she was saying, if you have a passion in cooking, are you able then to go out and cook for the people that are homeless or don't have food, you know, and get the community to come together? Here's an example of a woman in Winnipeg, Canada. She was walking by the homeless day after day. Some people would drop them a quarter or 50 cents thinking, oh, they're just going to get some drugs or a bottle of booze or whatever. They're not going to really use it for good purposes. So others were afraid because they were homeless. They decided they'd cross and walk on the other side of the street. But this woman from Winnipeg came up with an innovative way. She went to a manufacturer and she said, if I were to bring in some homeless men, would you make them a suit? She went to a hairdresser and she said, if I were to bring in some homeless men, would you cut their hair and shave them and clean them up? Because I'm going to hold a dinner at $30 a ticket for the homeless. And those men I'm going to have them be the models, and they would walk across the stage. And this one man, he was holding on to the lapel of his jacket, and he was so proud. He said, I get to bring this jacket home. I get to bring this suit home. It's mine. He may have been a doctor. He may have been a teacher, because sometime in our life, we all go through a hard time, a low time. And I'll tell you, God will answer your need and answer your prayer. You just have to believe and trust. I hope that helps you. Come up with an idea of how you can help others, or where it can also help meet your need. Does that help? Okay, thank you.
Hello, customers. Are you okay with the answer?
He's on mute.
Do you have any questions?
Cosmos, you're on mute. Okay.
Any question more?
I'm okay.
Okay.
No more questions for now.
Okay, thank you. So any
Thank
other
you.
questions? Okay, so without us, if you have your questions, kindly type and drop it here. Let me proceed with the sharing of my screen.
If you excuse me, Stephen, I have to go because of an overlapping call that I have now. It was wonderful being here, guys, and thank you so much for listening and hearing me talk. And thanks for Doreen as well for being a marvelous speaker here. Thank you, Stefan, for having me, and have a great, great night or morning wherever you are in the world.
God bless you and thank you so much. Can you see my screen now? Can you guys see my screen? Okay, so we here hosting this webinar, we are Stepwise Happiness Foundation. We operate from Nigeria, and we are also here in the Philippines with a good intention. We have good intentions of helping people go over their traumas and other things in life. Who are we? We are a non-governmental organization founded with the aim and principles of serving God and humanity with the three T's: time, talent, and treasure. Imbued with a knack, desire, and penchant to make the world a better place than we met it, we are poised with a desire and intention to put smile on the faces of the downtrodden and less privileged, those who are incapacitated, those who have given up hopes, those who have the mindset that their society and world at large has failed them, those who have what it takes to compete with their folks and kin, but have not been given a platform and opportunity to showcase whatever talent they are endowed with. How we started. We started in 2018 as a grassroots entity by Stephen Wise in the Republic of the Philippines, and is officially registered as a charity foundation in 2020, registered officially in Nigeria. From the founder's wealth, experience, and knowledge as a certified life coach, with specialty on happiness and human development and personal development also. It came to our knowledge that there are a huge number of people around the world who have no reason to smile, let alone be happy. And most who find happiness in most unlikely of places by their mundane ways of vivacity, seeing that such mundane and hedonistic ways of life leads to destruction and perdition. To help expatiate on this more, the dream of this came as late as or as earlier as 2003. So from 2003, I have been nursing the dream of this, and I started writing a book. I started writing a book from 2003, and that book was dreamed to be used to establish this foundation. In 2018, this book, You Too Can Be Happy, was published, gone online in Amazon. Unfortunately, I lost the login details of Amazon. How many copies that have been sold in Amazon, I don't know. I don't know. So from the launching of this book in the Philippines, Nigeria, I made all the money that was sold from this book is being used for the registration of this foundation. So from the income of the book, this Stepwise Happiness Foundation was given birth. Can you also congratulate us and thank God for that? So let's proceed. Where do we work? Charity is of the heart and not of the purse. Our aid and humanitarian art cut across Africa and sub-Saharan Africa, that area of the continent located at the southern edge of the Saharan Desert and below, who are categorized as third world country members. Members organization provide support ranging from wealth and medical care, education, sustainable development, art and culture, environmental conservation, food and agriculture, advocacy, and wildlife protection. Our objectives: number one, helping people, especially the youth, develop and achieve their ultimate goals and aspirations in life, thereby giving hope to the said hopeless. To support orphans who are willing to study but do not have the basic necessities that we see them through. Here, we have more than 50 children who are out of school, especially ranging from my community in Nigeria to other parts of the country. That is why we launch what we call back to school program that we keep soliciting for people for donations so that few people can be sent back to school, those especially those in the remote areas where they found it difficult to eat one square meal, let alone going to school. To stand in and defend minors and youth who are sexually abused in our moral perverse society. To work in collaboration with other available institutions and agencies in the bid to prevent wayward lifestyle and prevent suicidal tendencies, especially in Africa and Asia. I have had and I have received messages and calls, people trying to attempt suicide. And by the grace of God, we have talked them out of that. So kudos. To work in collaboration with other available institutions and agencies in the bid to prevent, to to work in alliance with schools in Africa with the intention to live coaching to be included in the high school curriculum. This is where it is important to me, and I pray to God that this foundation will make sure that we achieve this goal by trying to convince the Ministry of Education to include, either in my state or anywhere, to include the live coaching in their curriculum. Is very, very important so that we can catch them. Young people can be able to be equipped in order to handle their daily activities and their lives, to provide shelter for the homeless. So these are our aim and objectives. Our mission is to make sure that people, especially the youth and the underprivileged, we know and learn they are called to live and not to exist, by giving them the vintage opportunity to harness their God-given talents and craftsmanship, with which we emulsify them into better persons and better their society, so that by so doing, the society will be devoid of societal miscreant. Our vision: the earth is too large for two birds to collide. If all and sundry are given equally opportunity to harness and develop their potentials, the danger and risk of societal miscreant will be drastically reduced to the barest minimum. If this is done and achieved, the crime rate amongst youth will reduce, and possibly we will regain our paradise. So permit me to stop here. As time goes on, you will be knowing more about us. Here in the Philippines, I used to go with my team to some kind of less privileged homes where we admonish them the reason and the goodness, the reason why they should be happy. So they call me here happiness coach and happiness advocate. Yes, any situation you find yourself, happiness is not all about smiling and laughing. Happiness is when that you have achieved that your desire, you will be happy. So there are many ways to achieve happiness: by letting go of resentment, living good, knowing yourself. As our speaker will say, self-love is very, very important in order to be happy. So I thank you, each and every one of us, for coming. May I also ask again, is there any questions, so that we can attend to your questions and we proceed to close? So in the absence of any other questions, once again, you are welcome. We will keep having this program, this webinar. For those of us who attended today, kindly do well to invite others. Next time we have something like this, you will be able to learn many, many things. We are proceeding. We will teach anger management. We will teach business opportunities that you can kickstart your own business. We will teach, we will go deeper to teach about relationship. Sometimes we call marriage experts to come and talk to us. Sometimes we call relationship experts to come and talk to us. Sometimes we call entrepreneurs to come and talk to us. Sometimes we call people who have opportunities, who have ideas on traveling and tourism, those who can tell you the countries that you can travel and make a life and make a living, you know, so that you will not fall into the scammers' domain, so that they can eat your money when you are looking for visa. So thank you so much. Thank you, Doreen.
I think I have a question, please.
Okay.
How do you fund your projects and your programs? Because I've seen you have a lot of things you're doing, A whole lot. So how do you fund them? Is there government backing or something, or how's it done?
Very good question. Doreen, do you want to say anything? You are muted.
Was the question for me?
No, he's asking me. Okay. Hello, sir. To answer your questions, how do we fund our projects? To be honest with you, we do whatever we do from the little we have. That is why we have not been able to reach as so many people as possible. That is why we keep calling on people of goodwill. As you attended this seminar today, you can also circulate the good news so that we can get more benefactors and benefactresses, especially in the area of the Western world, especially in the area where our friend Doreen is. I plead to you, you can take this foundation, the information and our project, to circulate it to your friends and the people of goodwill so that they can support us. We have no benefactor yet or benefactors yet. We are looking for sponsors and benefactors all around the world where we can be able to write them, we can write. Where we can use word of mouth, we can use word of mouth. And where we can use what we have done to show, we can also do that. Lauren, do you have anything to say in this?
Yes. If I could also, somebody, it's a lot of noise, but I believe that, for instance, the person that asked the question, where do you get your funds from for all of your projects? Is it government funded? You already said in your presentation it's non-government funded. So you are dependent upon donations and people to edit up. What if the person that asked the question decided, okay, the one area I want to look at is training children, and got together a group, a committee, and worked out a plan that you could put together a luncheon, a dinner, a speechathon or something in an association, and then raise the funds for this particular project. So Stephen is dependent on all of us basically working together, not just our dollar, but working together in committees to come up with solutions for these various projects. One person can make a difference, but one person can't do it all. Just like when they wanted to build a playground for children that were underprivileged, the children could not afford it. Their families couldn't afford it. They couldn't afford school bags. They couldn't afford school supplies. So we came together as a committee and brought the playground and that to reality, the school bags to reality. Often the churches are able to help as well, as because they're sponsoring Africa and sponsoring different other places, right? There's lots of missionaries out there. As I mentioned to you about the Honduras one, it grew because somebody had an idea and went there, right? So maybe you can bring a committee together, 5 or 10 people. Let's come up with some ideas and brainstorm. How can we come up with a project that's going to take care of that need? Does that help?
Destiny, are you satisfied?
Yeah, sure it does. Sure it does. Because I was kind of a bit worried. You have a lot of objectives you have to achieve. And so I'm very happy that you guys are open to partnership. So meaning other foundations, other medical outfits, whatever it is, like Doreen said, churches, and everybody could just come together and then do whatever they can to make the world a better place.
Right.
Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I now call upon you guys to join me in this journey so that we can make the world a better place. You, Destiny is there with us. We also have Ms. Vivian is also here with us. Ms. Doreen is also here with us. We have Jennifer Onyinyechi is here with us. We have, I don't know where Rio is here with us. We have, we have Cosmos, we have Chris Santos. Chris Santos is a Catholic priest. He is here with us also. We have my very self. We thank you, we thank you, we thank you. Thank you, our speaker, Ranim from Egypt. You are all welcome and God bless you. Please, with this in mind, we can call this meeting on this section to an end.